This video on setting a template or your default template, I should say, in AUM. And the reason for me that I like to do this is because it makes it pretty quick to get started in AUM and you have less things to set up. So I'm going to show you some of the things I like to do, and doesn't mean you have to do this. And you can, of course, use different plugins, and I'm going to call them plugins, but I meant to say apps or whatever, to create your music, however you like to do it. Now, I use Koala as my main source to record audio to. I like to put the headphone on so that any audio that passes through these channels can go directly into Koala. And I prefer Koala in standalone personally, but since the issue is I can't really send, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't really send instruments directly into it because it doesn't host instruments. Then you need, AUM to do that kind of thing. And I like to mix. If I'm going to mix something in Koala, then I prefer to do it in here. So one thing, or one way I should say, that I do that is by setting up the master chain. So you hear this clicking, that's my Magic Keyboard mouse. It's very clicky. And I have three things generally that I would use in here. Now, most of the time, I'll be honest, I mix in Ableton. But if I want to do it in here, I'm going to show you which three I would have, and then I'm going to show you how to set it as a default. So let me find Clev Grand. I obviously passing it up, or I didn't download. There it is. All right, so Haze 2. So in here, I have a preset I use called Loud Master. It sets the limiter to 6 dB. And then in here, I use a preset called Natural Width. And I just throw this on for some saturation. This is Saturn. You can use Moog Fogger if you want, their saturation, or Bleece saturation. Any of those will work. I just put that one on because that's the one I like. And this is just my master chain. So I'm routing everything into Koala by using these mix bus. And then here's my two MIDI tools that I'll use sometimes. Sometimes I don't, just depending on what I'm doing. And then I got 3 slots for instruments. And of course I can put effects on those to send it through. If I don't want to use an instrument, I want to use a microphone or something, or a piece of hardware, then I just go up to hardware and send it in. Another one that I like to use in here sometimes is Drumbo. I think I've shown videos on this, that you can use the sequencer in here if you want that, or you can use, what's the other one that I use? Let me use my hand for a second there. Or you can use like Helium, or you can use Atom. Either one. Piano roll, they're just a MIDI controller if you need the MIDI. Personally, I just record straight in as audio. Koala's set up pretty good for that. It's easy to run things in. This last track is just so I can talk to you. So don't worry about that track. You don't need it. And then when you get ready, you go in and hit save. Click here and then call it. You want to make sure you label it as default, exactly the way it's spelled right here. Hit save, override. Now when you go in to open up a new session, there you go. So you load it and it saves it just the way it is. Now what I'm going to do is remove this microphone when I finish and resave it to a default, just because I don't need the microphone plug-in in there for my default. So that'll be one less channel that I need. You can rename each channel. I find no reason to do that because whenever you put a plug-in in here, it's going to, or app, however you want to term it, is going to rename it, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, to that particular one. So there's no real reason to do that. So this is how I set up my default template. Of course, you could get real intricate and do other things. I don't really need that personally, so I leave it just the way it is. And yeah, just wanted to share that with you. Uh, Hopefully, maybe you could share in the comments things that you like to add into your templates for AUM if you use it. All right. Hope all is well. Have a good one, and I'm out.